Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I hope the screen is visible. So today's session is about service quality in healthcare organizations. My name is Dr. Navaneet Deshpande. I'm going to take the session about the service quality. So let's begin. Coming with the introduction, service quality in healthcare organizations plays a critical role in ensuring the patient satisfaction and operational efficiency. And it also takes care of overall health outcomes from the healthcare organization. So, unlike other service industries, healthcare involves life critical services where quality can directly impact the patient well being. So, with the growing patient expectations and technological advancements, regulatory requirements, healthcare institutions must continuously improve their service quality in order to be persistent enough to deliver the things which they are meant for. So, let's try to understand the dimensions of how these parameters can be taken into consideration for measuring the healthcare service quality. The first one is reliability. Reliability is often understood that every time when the patient uses the services, it has to provide the same level of accuracy. It should be dependable, it should be consistent, and they should be able to provide medical care and services. So, it is one of the most important key dimensions of healthcare that it should be reliable each time and every time. The second thing is responsiveness. So, all the people working in the healthcare organization should have the willingness and promptness of healthcare providers in assisting the patients. So that being the second dimensions of healthcare service quality. The third dimension, as has been identified, is assurance. So assurance in terms of knowledge which the people have, in terms of the competency and skills which the personnel are having, and apart from that, courtesy, which is very important for healthcare professionals, which is we have to instill so that people will have trust and confidence in handling the patients. So reliability, responsiveness, assurance, the first three ones. And next comes empathy. It is a provision of personalized care more than customized services, just like any other commercial organization. Healthcare organizations want to be evolving by providing personalized care, understanding, and attention to the individual patient needs. So it should be tailor made as far as individual requirements of food is concerned, and personalized attention for each and every critical aspects are concerned. So empathy is another parameter which can be measured for the standards of maintaining the healthcare service quality. Then comes the tangibles. So in case the kind of the level of service equipments, whether they are of good quality, and whether the cleanliness and hygiene of the entire environment is being taken care of, as and including that the facilities ambience, overall ambience of how it has to made relevant for the kind of services which they are offering. So tangibles is another parameter based upon which the healthcare service quality is determined. Then obviously the patient safety. So ensuring minimal errors, proper hygiene, and adherence to safety protocols like having smoke detectors. Then you can have fire extinguishers and notices at various places. There should be signal signboards and information in terms of precautions to be like while handling certain harmful materials or even those materials which are at risk. So all that which has to do with patient safety, even including movement of goods and services from one place to another place, that is another dimension of healthcare service quality. Then we have got efficiency, the optimum use of resources including manpower, including time, including money, including all the materials. So efficiency in dealing with all these things has to be ensured so that healthcare service quality could be promptly recognized, that it is without delay and without unnecessary costs being increased. So, tangibles, patient safety, and efficiency. So, previously we have seen reliability, responsiveness, assurance, empathy. Then, tangibles, patient safety, and efficiency are the key dimensions of healthcare service quality. Next, we come across these two models quite often. So, any organization either follows the first one or second one. So, SERQUAL model is the service quality model, which we normally refer to, is a widely used framework that evaluates service quality based upon the gaps between the patient expectations and the perceptions. So, the patient comes with certain kind of expectations that he will be taken care of in a much better manner, and the people accompanying him will also have certain expectations from the organizations. So, based upon the perceptions and expectations, the service quality model has been designed. Then we got SERPERF model, a performance-based measurement model that assesses service quality solely based upon the patient perceptions of actual service received rather than expectation and perception gaps. So one believes on the expectations, another believes on the actual service required. So SERPERF is, you can say, more or less, there is no gap identification. It is with the actuals, whereas SERP quality is based upon perceptions and expectations. So, as a part of Circle, we have got reliability, assurance, tangibles, empathy, and responsiveness. This goes on, and we can measure every time how much reliable a particular set of things are, or how much services were reliable every time. And then assurance, as we have seen, what kind of assurance people are giving in terms of promises made, and against tangibles, what are there and what are the service quality in terms of the equipment, in case of material supply, disposables, consumables, all the tangibles what we are seeing inside the hospital. Then empathy, the critical care and wearing the shoes of other person in front of us, how much empathy is there while handling every person coming in and going out, and is there any protocol of maintaining certain decency and kind of prompt and polite responses. So empathy will include all that. Then responsiveness, not only the transparency but the speed with which people are being able to handle within a short span of time. So responsiveness is also important. So this five parameters form what is known as circle model. So apart from the circle and SERPERF model, we also have something known as Six Sigma and lean methodologies, which we have already discussed last time. So approaches aimed at reducing the errors, maybe manual errors, while errors by while using the various instruments, while handling linen, while handling the documentation part, while handling the files, and uh, basically improving the efficiency of all set of processes. So Six Sigma is another methodology along with lean methodology, which is one measurement of service quality. Then another measurement of service quality could be NPS, so which is widely used as a metric which gauges patient loyalty and the likelihood to recommend this facility. So the patient may himself use it, but he may hesitate to tell others as to whether the hospital is good or not. So in that case, NPS score is there. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if he says 8, that means he's not going to refer it to anywhere else. So if he says 9, that means he's most likely to refer it to third person. Based upon the feedback, people are going to give value to the NPS. So it's another measurement of service quality. So Six Sigma we have seen last time, and lean methodologies by reducing the overall inventories as much only optimum level as required. So that is lean methodology. And then comes your ISO 9001 certification, which is a quality certification to ensure continuous improvement. So continuous in the sense incremental improvement, not sudden improvements, but doing the same thing better over a period of time. And repetitively, things are being improvised upon on a long-term basis. So ISO 9001 certification takes 1 or 2 years in order to settle and establish itself. So this is another measurement of quality. Then after having discussed the CERQUAL, CERPERF, and ISO and Six Sigma and Lean and Net Promoter Score, there could be some challenges also, which is felt by the people working. So one of the things is obviously the shortages of staff. So no matter whether it is in farming industry, whether it is in hospitality, or sometimes in retail, as much as very much in the healthcare sector, even in terms of the doctors themselves, because the number of hospitals uh, sometimes may not have the adequate number of staff both at the top level as well as the mid level or even at the entry level also. So staff shortages is a reality which one cannot deny. Even in a largest populated country, we still have shortages of staff. So a lack of skilled professionals especially can lead to overburdening of some people who work very well. I mean, the ones who are really slogging in day in and day out have been burdened with excessive workloads, but then it is affecting patient care at the same time. So challenges are fraught with staff shortages. Then second thing is cost constraints. So it has been often the matter of research that which are the hospitals which are making profits. So it is normally seen the larger hotels, I mean, hospitals are making profits because uh, they have the better improvement in terms of handling the volume of day to day. Quantification becomes easy for them to maintain overall. But in case of smaller hospitals, they may not be able to handle some kinds. The financial limitations are there for them. They are not able to purchase good equipments. So many other cost constraints will not help them to work at optimal profitability. So second challenge is that of cost. The first is that of staff itself. Staffs are less. Second thing is cost. Third thing is technological integration. So the implementation of electronic health records (EHR), it could be easy in the classroom to discuss all these things, but when it comes to reality, people are facing the documentation, something not everybody likes unless and until trained. Even despite training them, people are still resisting to maintaining the documentation of electronic health records and other IT solutions that could be very complex to learn for some people. Not everybody likes IT, and even if you train them in other softwares, also majority of them are somehow unlikely to maintain all the detailed records which is required. So technological integration is something which requires extensive training. So that is another challenge which is hampering the healthcare industry. Then you got regulatory compliance. So adhering to stringent health regulations and standards requires significant efforts and resources. So they may have to work overtime in order to comply with each and everything. So they again are relying upon the documentation part. So part of the reason why people will are doing MBA in healthcare operations is to handle the regulatory compliances, are able to standardize each and everything by becoming a departmental trainer in every possible hospital which they are working. So that helps them to overcome the distance between the unskilled staff and the skilled labor as well as the fully professional doctors. So regulatory compliance is some areas which is met with challenges. Next, finally, the patient expectations. Increasing patient awareness and demand for high quality care necessitates continuous service enhancements. So we cannot set a particular line for expectations. Patient expectations could be enormous. The demands could be too many numerous. So um, it is always better to create an awareness and spread the message through educating, and also by having an app and making them informed and take an informed decision. All that goes a long way in order to assist them so that their expectations are realistic, not coming some from somebody's whims and fancies. So patient expectations is some challenge which is also hampering in a certain way in order to maintain a service quality. So these are some of the challenges faced. To begin with, staff shortages, second cost constraints, technological integrations, and resistance to change, of course, in this, and regulatory compliance and patient expectations. So all these are some of the set of challenges which come in a way in terms of maintaining service quality. And then comes the strategies how to deal with all those things. First one is all the services, no matter whether it is offered by the top level management or middle level or entry level, they should be patient centered. So everybody should be focused mainly on the patient and not on any company or a boss or CEO or MD or some specific doctor or something kind. So all the things has to be done in the interest of the patient. So over and again repeatedly, every good organization tries to see that individualized care has to be taken, shared decision making has to be done, leading to lesser amount of arguments and conflicts and improved communication. So this is one strategy that everything has been done in the interest of the patient. Has to be made sure that each and everybody is on the same page while dealing with the patient care. Then comes the training and development. So training could be given in softwares, it could be dealing on how to talk with the people, maybe language skilling, like for instance, some foreign doctors may not be able to know the local languages. The local language should be improved and encouraged by people coming across from all the states of the country or even all the countries of the world. So the training and development in terms of linguistic abilities of the people involved in the uh, healthcare organizations. Apart from that, software training and marketing also little bit, as far as it is agreed upon, because marketing is distraught with some kind of hesitation. Many people do not like to do excessive marketing in healthcare organizations, but still a little bit of marketing in terms of training them how to market the certain products are also l- improving the service quality, and it will enhance the skill for healthcare professionals. Then comes your professional in terms of optimal installing of your establishing of your lean and six sigma, streamlining of the operations by obtaining this professional certifications for around, let us say, six sigma certifications from some well-known organizations like supply chain council, or understanding lean methodologies in terms of understanding how a person becomes professionals in terms of process optimization, knowing, learning for oneself, and then distributing the knowledge amongst the people who are working there. So that also, apart from training, getting process optimization also helps you to develop some kind of strategy. Then of course, technology utilization. So as we move across to newer ways of adopting life cycles, then we have got newer technologies coming in, which are the foundations of developing upcoming features of hospitals, like leveraging on telemedicine. Like recently we came across an operation done on a baby staying in New Delhi by a doctor sitting in Hyderabad, and the operation was carried, and which did not require the doctor to travel all the way, or neither the patient had to travel. They were in their own cities. Like telemedicine is also helping them a lot in terms of gaining the skills to be shared, and also able to be assisted by artificial intelligence and health informatics to enhance the service delivery. So health informatics as such has become a very large domain by itself. So development in IT technology, although health professionals are least likely to use them, most often that doctors and all these health professionals, including nurses and pharmacists, not really making the full utilization of AI and health. But still, there is a lot of scope for you all to enter into the health informatics area, so as to improve the service delivery. And then you have the feedback mechanism. So strategy, take the feedbacks of the regular people who are coming there, and discuss about it. Just do not take the feedback and keep it and just pile up the collection, but identify an improvement upon taking some statistical, arriving at some figure and discussing at a regular meeting. So feedback mechanisms have to be developed. That is also a strategy which is going to improve the service quality. Then another thing is would be employee engagement. So down the line, people working, they have to be motivated. They cannot work like machines. They should be taken care that every now and then. Top level bosses should ensure that their insurance is taken care. They're kind of celebrating the birthdays as well as festivities during certain seasons have to be considered, the leaves, and taking personal giving personal attention to them, so that their job enrichment is done, job satisfaction is done, job rotation is done, and all those things related to the job, especially the HR department, should evolve over a period of time to in order to encourage the employee engagement, so that there is no burnout. I mean, less and less burnout for service delivery is being catered for, and it requires all the stakeholders of the HR department, as well as people who are setting the policies for the organizations, especially the people who are in the management and administration, like you guys. When you enter into the field, you should make sure that everybody knows the certain policies of increments, of promotions, of referral job improvements, and even finding newer pool talent, bringing in the newer pool talent, you know, and roping in certain individuals with expertise, making associations, and celebrating every success, every no matter how much small successes have been gained by the teams, and giving incentives, benefits, bonus, and all those things. So employee engagement over a period of time, it will also definitely improve the service quality. Then comes your collaboration. So some of the best practices followed by the nearest hotel, hospitals, uh, and adopting successful models for other healthcare organizations. So all these benchmarking should be understood, and what's happening in and around certain areas within the country should also be understood, that which are the ones which are expanding, and what is the benchmarking, who is good in what, which set of hospitals are good for what kind of super specialty. Benchmarking and collaboration at the association level, it has to be done. So these are some of the ways in which we have seen strategy, like right from patient-centered care, training and development, process optimization, technology utilization, feedback mechanisms, employee engagement, and collaboration, and benchmarking. So, as a part of the first part of this session, we have seen that service quality in healthcare organization is a dynamic and essential factor in ensuring patient satisfaction, operational efficiency, and improved health outcomes. So, by addressing these key dimensions such as reliability, responsiveness, assurance, empathy, and efficiency, so all this model, the so-called model, which essentially will assure an era whereby trust is built amongst the customers and the patients, and so that there is a delivery of superior care and personalized attention. So, what we have seen is Cirque wall model. Apart from that, Six Sigma and Net Promoter Score. All these three things, along with the continuous assessment and improvement, help the organizations to chart out the course of action towards betterment in their service offerings. So, commitment to quality enhancements ensure not only regulatory compliance but also long-term sustainability and excellence in patient care. So now coming to the so-called model as such, began introductory session long back in 1980s. So it was initially used for only measurement of service quality in various industries, which definitely includes healthcare, but also hospitality and retail, which are more or less service industries which are widely available for uh, for people to people contacts. So initially developed by Parasuraman, Zitmel, and Berry in the late 1980s, so somewhere 87, 89, in that period. So Circle assesses service quality based upon the gap between what customer is expecting and what the perceptions he is having. So that is known as perceived quality. So United States, they have a lot of perceived quality vis-a-vis the in India we normally don't give attention to the perceived quality. We know that what matters is the actual quality and not something what somebody dreams of. So so perceived quality and the actual quality, and it tries to identify the gap between the two. So it provides a structured approach for businesses to evaluate and improve the service offerings, and ensures better customer satisfaction and a competitive advantage where it is implemented. This is a so-called model, basically started by Parshuraman Zethemal and Berry in 1980s. So as we have seen in the previous slides also, it is about reliability, assurance, then tangibles, empathy, and responsiveness. So, what it says, the circle model is based upon the premise that service quality is determined by the difference between the customer expectations of service and the perceptions of the actual service received. So, he comes with certain set of dreams and goals that he's going to get from the hospital. But if he doesn't get, and then there comes a trouble, then there is a conflict, there is disagreement, dissatisfaction, then he complains, then it from there on, there is a lot of gap which remains between what is expected and what is delivered. So, based upon these differences, the circle model has been built, and the greater the gap, the lower perceived service quality. So, there's a lot of gap. If you expect too much and what is delivered is less, so there is obviously the perceived service quality is lower, and the model identifies five key dimensions that collectively defines what is service quality. So it's all about reliability. Reliability is repetitiveness. How many times he found the service reliable? Assurance is all that guarantees that people always promise, and so that he can overcome The barriers, the intangibles are something which you can see and touch and feel yourselves, which are there in terms of equipment quality and all. Empathy is something what is purely human, so it requires a human touch, and responsiveness is the quickness with which things are being delivered. So all these five tangibles define what is known as the circle model. So TRRAE. So same thing, tangibles, the physical aspects such as equipment, facilities, personnel, appearance of person also. So good uniform will make them feel more happier, and able to neatly talk in a sensible manner in a short span of time, not necessarily engaging in a um, confrontationist attitude. And tangibles is something like which you can not only see in facilities and equipments, but also in appearance of the people with a lot of good identity cards, the caps, and the way in which people are taking care at the time of when the patient comes in for the first time, so that people do not get scattered away for very trivial reasons. So tangibles is something which gives the guidelines like how to move, how the patient has to move from one place to another place, the entire flow chart, the physical aspects of delivery, how and where he has to contact, each and everything in detail. It has to be charted out so that tangibles are handled very cautiously. This only creates a good image amongst the public, and goodwill improves. And then you got reliability, the ability to perform promised service accuracy and dependably. Responsiveness, the willingness to service provide to customers and provide the prompt and quick, offering of the service. And then again, the assurance, the knowledge and courtesy of employees, and the ability to inspire trust and confidence amongst the people who are providing the service. Assurance. So knowledge is also equally important. People should know what's happening in and around, so that helps to be on the same page. Then we have the empathy, the provision of personalized attention and care to the customers. So these dimensions form the basis of circle questionnaire, which is used to collect the customers' feedback and assess. So the patient will be asked on all these parameters, and more often than not, it is a 5-point questionnaire. Sometimes some hospitals use 7-point questionnaire. That how they found the tangibility, how they found reliability every time, how was the responsiveness from the staff members, what kind of assurance were they giving, and finally the empathy. So all these things are a part of the circle model. So application in different industries, just to know that little bit of extra than what is meant only for the healthcare. So what we know here is they assess the patient satisfaction, improve the hospital operations, and ensure the reliable care. So in healthcare, we know all these things are important, but apart from that, the same circle model is widely adopted across hotels, restaurants, travel agencies, airlines, railways, then cruise liners, and various other, including these days for metros, and so many things which help them in tourism and staying in hotels. So we have come across five-star hospitals also. So not only hotels are being ranked, even the hospitals are ranked with star ratings. So so-called model is adopted in this area. Then we do have obviously in the part of the banking sector. So whether HDFC, ICICI, or whichever new coming brands like foreign banks and everywhere, retail and banking sector, so-called model has been adopted in different industries. Then comes the education sector itself. So assessing the student satisfaction by giving good feedback in universities on all these parameters will help the training institutions and universities to usher in an era whereby people are driven on customer centric pattern, and services are offered on a customer centric pattern. And so application in healthcare, which includes to begin with, which we have just now seen, is about patient satisfaction measurement. So hospitals and clinics use circle to identify the gaps between what is expected and what is the actual experience, what they are facing as soon as they come inside. So this helps in improving the overall patient care and satisfaction. The second one is hospital performance assessment. So efficiency and effectiveness both have to be measured. Both are not the same. Efficiency is something how quickly you do and how fast you're equipped to with all the thing materials and machines to do it. Effectiveness is the way in which you approach each and every personalized care in order to require the human elements more of effectiveness kind of. So efficiency is something which requires so many inputs in terms of quantification. Effectiveness requires in qualitative improvement of things. So it enables the management to identify gaps, areas needing for improvement. Then doctor patient communication enhancement, which is very critical given the number of less doctors in India, a few people for thousands. So we have to know in what best manner the organization should encourage patient doctor communication channels and enhancement. So this model assists in assessing how well medical professionals communicate with the patients, ensuring they provide a clear, empathetic, and trustworthy communication and interactions. This is one of the benefits of the circle model. And of course, the facility and equipment. So, by measuring tangible, hospital can improve the infrastructure, the hygiene and sanitation, the cleanliness, the medical equipments, and ability to enhance the patient trust and comfort. Then service timeliness and efficiency. Responsiveness in healthcare is critical. ServQual helps to track the delays. If something is going wrong, how long he has been waiting for, and how immediately he can be catered for. All these things could be taken in terms of how many delays in appointments are there, how many delays in emergency responses are there. You have to statistically calculate how far in a month or in a week there have been delays. So in order to understand the statistical numbers, so that administrative people can take an informed decision, and to so that you can make it more streamlined and try to fit in within the given ranges so that it will not go haywire. So service timeliness and efficiency is very important. Then regulatory accreditation and compliance. Healthcare organizations use qualifying, findings to ensure that compliance of health quality standards are maintained, and they get a certification for accreditation outcomes. So over a period of time, the organizations, the nodal organizations, even the state government organizations, central government organizations, and those at the international level will give the certifications that they are regulatorily complying in accordance with the standards which are set by those organizations and bodies which offer the certifications of accreditation and compliance. Then comes the continuous quality improvement. So, regular qual assessments allow the healthcare organizations to implement continuous quality improvement, that we call CQI programs, to enhance the service quality. So, continuously, whatever has been done yesterday should be improved in a day or two, so that again repetitive mistakes will not happen. So, continuous quality improvement is one thing which has been adopted from the Japanese, as we call for Kaizen. For every small improvement, you can celebrate and you can make it know that which department is good at what. You can have a shared knowledge that in what way the team has been able to overcome the barriers of communication and enhancing the abilities of skills, what is required, how to train them on a repetitive basis at least 2 to 3 times in a month. Then continually benchmarking those standards and able to be competitive in the overall environment. So that is one application. Then benefits, as we call for the model, is comprehensive framework. It offers a complete set of guidelines with which you are able to identify the problem, so that it is not me and you and people starting with a bossing with the top, whether the top management says something and the bottom management doesn't listen to something else. So it is not like that. So it is basically bringing off all of them into a particular framework, so that there is a 360 degrees feedback given by all the people working, and people know what they are expected to do even within next 2 years of their stay, or 2 years of work performance in a particular organization. So it offers something like a track for all the people as soon as they join the organization till the time they leave the organization and separate from the organization, go to another high organization. So comprehensive framework is given in almost all the places where this is being adopted. Then customer centric approach, needless to say, it has to be understood in terms of how they perceived it before coming, how they saw it after coming, and how to align with the services according to their set of expectations as much as possible. Next, benchmarking tool. So obviously any organization which is good will be having best efforts, best practices, and how their competitors are doing much better, and how we are doing much better in some other sense. So this is nothing but how we perform against those set benchmarks right now in a current contemporary environment of healthcare. And then finally, it gives some kind of actionable insights like analytics. It will give the specific data for targeted improvements, what requires more, what requires less, and what kind of things can be improved over a period of time, where we are finding faults and how they can be improved. So it will give the actionable insight. So this model, adoption of this model, will give us a comprehensive framework, a customer centric approach, a benchmark tool, and actionable insights. Then there are, of course, again, people try to discredit this because it is too much subjective. Means rather than becoming objective, it is too much of detailed explanation, which people hardly give any attention to during their hectic, busy day. So people say that why at all customer satisfaction can be managed? How can it be managed in the first place? So they vary widely because people coming from all strata of life, we don't know what their expectations are in the first place. So making standardization out of all those things itself becomes a huge challenge. So subjectivity of expectations is there, that they expect too many things at a time which cannot be comprehended. Forget about meeting them, understanding the set of expectation itself becomes too much hectic. So subjectivity of expectations is one thing. Second, it is riddled by industry specific adjustments. So although the model is there, it may require customization and making it tailor made for a specific organization based upon the different sectors in which it is implemented. So it is having its own kind of limitations. The third limitation is time intensive. So it's time bound. So we can say, if you need to take a survey, unless you do it repeatedly, it is of no use, because over a period of time only you will able to know whether there has been incremental improvement in the performance. So conducting surveys and analyzing the gaps, so could be resource intensive. Who is going to do all that? Okay, so the problem is whether we have to be more focused on the patients and taking care of them, or we have to be rather sloppy and taking our own decisions as to you have to give the feedback and nagging them, always to give a better feedback, give 9 out of 10, and all those resource intensive. It requires too much of dedication, determination, effort, time, energy, and uh, people's readiness to at least give the feedback on a better side. So it is time consuming. So it is time intensive data collection. Basically, it is data collection. We don't know what is going to happen with the data, but unless it is done repetitively, it doesn't bring about any kind of real improvement on the ground. So it is having a limited amount of applicability in case if data is too much to be collected. So a set of sample instead of a census, you can have a survey. So census means it includes all the population, no matter who comes in, everybody's feedback has to be taken. But it cannot work like that. Everybody is not there to give the feedback. Sometimes it may happen that respondents may be half of the people, or it could be just around 40% of the people who are actually giving the data to you as to how they felt and how were the services offered. So we can take a survey, so it can make the subjective things a little bit objective. So here the determination of adjustment is of key importance. The how specific you can improve, and which are the areas in which you want to improve. Not necessarily that every area has to be taken a feedback. Some areas in which it requires improvement, those can be improved with the sub-call model. So conclusion, what we have seen is, we have seen that people come with some expectations, they can come with perceptions, then we can identify those gaps and implement the necessary improvements and achieve higher customer satisfaction at the end of the day. So you can see, while it has certain limitations, it is structured more or less, and people know that what is going to happen, how they have to perform, how they are measured, what are the key performance indicators, and what goals and targets they can set down the line for the next 2 years, so that it is becoming valuable, or at least valued. Okay, so becoming valuable is one thing, becoming valued is another thing. Okay, so improvement of values is yet another thing. So these three things, unless it is seen from a particular stakeholder's point of view, the word value means a different. For the doctor, value addition means different. Considering as for a receptionist who is sitting at the counter, being called as a valued person is a different issue altogether. So when it comes to shareholders or the stakeholders who run the organizations, making it as a value based company, or a very valuation of that company has to be very uh, high. So in terms of economics, people see valuation differently, they see valuable differently, and coming to at an individual level, the person becoming very valuable for the time and conscious effort which he puts in, it makes a huge lot of difference. So all the three things require the continuous enhancements across all the industries, not just one hospital or two hospitals. Across the industry also, it requires understanding between the various set of people. So as we have seen just now, again, we revolve around the same things more or less in this session. So because more often we deal it with much less detail, it is about again the dimensions of the service quality in healthcare. So we've seen that three things are important: patient satisfaction, clinical outcomes, and overall efficiency. three key parameters how we define quality is: one, the patient has to be satisfied; second, clinical outcomes have to be nice, he have to recover from whatever illnesses he has been facing; third thing is whether the entire organization was operationally efficient while undertaking his presence and stay. So these three things given the importance, we have given sub- substantial improvement in also to the competition on a macro level. So growing customer expectations on a even bigger level, and stringent regulatory requirements from a certain structured requirement perspective for the health organization, they should prioritize. For all these three things to be met, overall solution is they have to prioritize the service quality. So in order to have some kind of trust amongst the people that everybody is doing the same thing for the same set of parameters, this model has been adopted, so that nobody thinks that some people are good in job, some are not in good in job. Everybody has to be on the same page as far as taking patient care is concerned. So understanding the dimension of service quality allows hospitals and healthcare institutions to address these gaps and improve the performance and maintain a high standard of care. So again, in going depth, tangibles refer to the physical aspects of healthcare environment, including facilities, equipments, cleanliness, and appearance of medical staff. How the look of the entire hospital is like that. As soon as you go in, you feel they have a nice approach, you have something nice, they feel nice way in looking at. So tangibles will improve those things. A well maintained hospital with modern technology and hygienic conditions contribute to patient confidence and the care provided. Patient feels really happy once you approach those things. So approach towards hospital should be good. You should not be in some stingy area whereby people are able to have some kind of, you know, wrong noises and all those things. So everything, so tangibles, like it should be soundproof, it should be having a lot of parking area, it should have good staff to maintain at the door as well as towards the back entry. They should have easy movement of right from one unit to another unit, from scanning unit to operation unit and various other labs involved along with pharmacy and all those things. So they should be visually appealing in the first place. It should be designed in for a comfortable environment. It should be ergonomically designed. So a lot of care has to be taken for the people who establish. So this is known as tangibles. Reliability, as we know time and again, that accurate diagnosis has to happen. So anything going wrong with the diagnosis, able not to able to identify what's wrong with the patient itself. Like for instance, if the cause of heart attack may be uh, that less blood is flowing in particular artery, could be found having a different number by visiting one doctor. Another doctor, if you go to another hospital, he will give a different number and he will come up with different statistics. So people are hesitant. Who is a reliable doctor to who? Which are the labs which will give you reliable statistics and which will accurately diagnose the situation? So these kind of treatments, if it is not found same across all the organizations, then there is questionable atmosphere where people are really hesitant to use those services despite being very quite close to the residents. So this kind of reliability is required as the key feature and the key dimensions of service quality. It involves adherence to clinical protocols and timely delivery of services and minimizing the errors. So this minimizing errors takes a huge lot of time, and that itself gives a guarantee to the patients so that they can expect reliable healthcare services where doctors and nurses follow the standardized practices and ensure consistent medical outcomes. So this is what is known as reliability. And high reliability in healthcare reduces patient anxiety. So at the end, we are more concerned with satisfaction. And if the patient is really anxious, then trust must be built. And if we have to improve the some kind of developing mutual disclosure of betterment, because there should be some confidence building measures between the doctors and the patients, and reliable for the overall organization as such, so that the organization should be good, I mean, earn a good name in the overall setup. Then comes the responsiveness. So after reliability, we have the responsiveness. Responsiveness reflects the willingness and the ability to help when take care of the healthcare staff to assist the patients promptly. Timely, it should not be 5 minutes delay or 10 minutes delay every time. they themselves are in anxious condition. So responsiveness is very, very crucial, especially in the healthcare industry. It may be not of so much importance to other things, but in healthcare, of course, responsibility in terms of responsiveness is very crucial. So quick response times has to be registered, I mean, documented. Emergency readiness has to be documented every time, and efficient scheduling of consultations. So this is something which is hampering even the developed countries, as we know. Efficient scheduling of consultation for every small thing, like a blood test. In US, it takes around 1.5 months or something like that. If a sugar check or blood check will take like that. So efficient scheduling of consultations comes, it gives its own benefits of service for in terms of key service quality, and surgeries contribute to patient satisfaction. So utilizing telemedicine across the geographies will help them to overcome this, but it requires a lot of investment in terms of surgeries to be handled, or even in case of mobile, in case of rural areas, these mobile ambulances in terms of surgical units, or even mobile physiotherapy units, mobile pharmacists, mobile nursing. So so many things have come up. So quick response times is what is needed, because most of the people, the rural folks, will not get that much of amount of patient satisfaction as has been found in the metro cities. Next, patients expect timely attention to the concerns, inquiries, and medical needs. And then comes your delays in service provisions, leading to dissatisfaction, affecting the overall perceptions of quality. So, in order to bring about a similar kind of a growth, there has to be uniformity in the growth in terms of quick response times, ability to handle readiness from the nearest point, even in larger, like you can say, expressways or highways where there is an accident. Immediately, healthcare has to be provided, the number has to be dialed, and suddenly both the helicopters or even ambulances and other services have to be scheduled for immediate consultations. And sometimes the government has to make an effort to have a free consultations rather than relying exclusively on the private hospitals, because consultations itself takes a significant amount of charges, so which can be reduced if the government is ready to offer its services, sometimes free of cost, and sometimes with a lot of concessions. So responsiveness is something which is very critical in terms of providing service quality improvements. And then comes assurance. So assurance involves competence, skilled manpower, courtesy with which you are handling, credibility of medical professionals. All this goes a long way in order to help the doctors, nurses, other skilled staff, administrative people, managers, healthcare professionals, manage hospital, everyone. The assurance factor has to be equally understood by giving regular trainings, and trust will be developed amongst all the people, not just merely in the doctors or the nurses at best. It should be done with everyone who was working over there for improving the healthcare quality, as patients seek treatment in institutions where they feel really safe. So the brand name and the loyalty towards the brand name is maintained, and confidence building measures can be taken for the entire team, not rather than only the specialists. It could be done by the generalists. So the assurance is something which has to be taken care of as part of the dimension. Empathy, as we all know, this has been not been I mean without underestimating anything much, we should know that ability to understand what is required much before the patient asks us. We should be able to tell the patient what exactly is required to him. So address the emotional abilities, IQ and EQ, and psychological needs of the patients has to be able to be cognitively active in terms of dealing with them, not just distracting and making benefits for the profit, but addressing all their emotions, feelings, psychological needs of the patient have been addressed to with a lot of care. It includes effective communication, personalized care, emotional support. Sometimes we don't know whether he is accompanied, whether the patient is accompanied with anybody. Sometimes, if in case of single parent and all, if there is no family to take care, then it requires emotional support in a way. And there are certain organizations which have started, like people who are able to have people who support even at home, like you can ask home kind of atmosphere, but whereby they can take the samples like blood test and sugar test. Hospitals take the samples by coming to home and giving the results back home. So similarly, age old people whom instead of going to the old age home, People from there are certain hospitals who have a different team of support team who deal with personalized care for age old people. So patients value healthcare professionals who listen to the concerns, provide clear expectations, and show genuine concern for their well-being. So that's what empathy is all about. And empathetic interactions enhance patient satisfaction, contribute to positive health outcomes. So everything there is there are as many possibilities in healthcare as we got thought of, because we have what we have seen is like just like Zeptos, or you might have seen Zomato or Swiggy kind of a thing in a food or retail industry. But then these kind of services are definitely required even in healthcare sector, not just for rural folks but also for the people residing in the metro cities as well. So empathy is something to be worked about, how to measure empathy and how to provide services based upon these dimensions. Then comes your accessibility and convenience. So healthcare services should be accessible and convenient. First is about the accessibility. So whether the patient is near a small town, or he's in a rural town, or he's in a metro town, and how quickly he has to be moved from one place to another place because of certain deficiencies in the entire system. So we don't know which is the nearest place to visit, especially when it comes to wellness. Pharmacy, we know pharmacy is open, whether hospitals are open, they have to be 24 hours open. That goes without saying. But whether it has all the facilities, it should be at fingertips. So there should be apps. There are already so many apps which are meant for accessibility, but everyone doesn't know how to use it. So that becomes a problem. So convenience for all the patients, to make sure the information exists not only in directories but also apps. And this includes easy appointment scheduling, minimum waiting times, first of all, and then availability of specialists. This is very, very important, because all the specialists are not there in all the hospitals. Some hospitals are known for some specialty, super specialty. Some other hospitals are known for different set of things altogether. So these things have to be understood and registered and timely communicated for patient friendly administrative processes. Then only people can move around with a lot of, you can say, convenience. Otherwise convenience is at stake, especially in a larger cities, the kind of cities which India has faced. I mean, nowhere in the world the cities have grown beyond their boundaries, as it happened in India, though, because majority of the large cities are in India only. So patient friendly administrative processes are hampered in some cities at least. I'm not talking about uh, all the states in general, but some states do not have the friendly administrative processes. So then we have hospitals and clinics that offer telemedicine services. Then online appointment and booking can be taken. Then telemedicine, of course, which are just now seen telemedicine, and we got uh, all kind of latest applications, including billing systems for accessibility and reduce patient stress. So accessibility and convenience will determine very, very much, especially for rural staff and people working in entire. I mean, people residing in the tier two cities. This sometimes people go a long way. They always go to a larger city in order to get themselves treated, because they are not essentially there in certain areas. So this accessibility and convenience, there's a lot of scope for improvement. Then comes the patient safety. So patient safety is a fundamental dimension of healthcare quality, encompassing infection control and medication safety and adherence to clinical guidance. And all these things, patient safety should ensure that proper hygiene and maintaining safe and secure work environment and ensuring quality care. And it helps to prioritize safety, not only to improve the outcomes but also to enhance the reputation credibility. Okay, it's not just about patients all the time. It's about making a good name in the market. It's about developing goodwill in the market. It's about creating good image in the market. So it enhances the reputation of the organization as such. The patient safety is given prominence. And next comes communication and information sharing, clear and effective communication between medical professionals, down the line, middle level management, top level management, entry level management. Everybody, supervisors, workers, everyone has to have clear both written communication and verbal communication and non-verbal. That is in terms of icons, emoticons, and signposts, sandboards, everything. So each and every type of communication sharing has to happen, and including the apps. Okay, there are some new coming apps. You can do a little bit of research. Which are the apps which are used nowadays across multiple departments, so that everybody is on the same page. Then we have got patients which have to have who have to have comprehensive information about the diagnostics, which is very, very critical, because these days diagnosis sometimes People find it as a racket that no matter for every small tricky thing, people have to diagnose quite often. So it becomes diagnosis itself is taking a lot of time. So patients should have to be given clear cut guidelines, whatever options they have, medications and follow up care. Because there are some in US, there are some people called as pharmacy benefit managers. Okay, so these pharmacy benefit managers are interlocutors between insurance companies and hospitals. They enhance and they increase the bill, and they give some kind of generic medicine. So that has been found that these pharmacy benefit managers have been introduced specially by these insurance companies only to just inflate the bill, and it looks very good for all the people involved. Both the pharmacists are benefited, the hospital is benefited, the patient has been badly affected. So the case of pharmacy benefit manager has been really questionable, and there have been a good lot of legislations in the US which is going against. There is some antitrust activities, and people have been filing cases on these pharmacy benefit managers, especially in the US, whereby he tries to diagnose and recommend some generic medicines and treatment options and medications, and they do excessive follow-up care, and this excessive follow-up care has led to damaged reputation of certain hospitals. So one should not be taking care of excessively just for the sake of profit, driving them crazy. So this communication and information sharing, it has got its own limitations. Should be there within certain boundaries. If it is handled carefully, that will facilitate open connection communication. But if it's handled very erratically, then industries and corporates are there to make most profit out of that. So discharge summaries and digital health records improve the patient engagement and decision making. So this is what the discharge summary is very much important. While the insurance, gives them kind of support for financially. So decision making is very important in that case in terms of communication, information sharing. So we have seen almost that what is important for us is patient satisfaction. On the top of it, trust, which is very, very, very essential to develop over a period of time. Then health outcomes. So based upon the tangible elements, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, empathy, accessibility, patient safety, and effective communication, healthcare providers can enhance the service quality and patient experience. So same videos are there, but just last a few minutes, which we require is continuous assessment on a day-to-day basis, measurement statistically, training them, ensure that hospitals and clinic remain patient-centric, not just shareholder-centric or top-level management-centric or doctor-centric. They should essentially be patient-centric, and they have to be competitive and compliant with healthcare standards. So investing in service quality not only benefits the patient but also strengthens the reputation and the operational efficiency of healthcare organizations. So this is what we have been able to find so far. Uh, so I can say this was about all today. Any questions from all of you? If there are any questions, kindly type in the chat box. We can go through recorded versions also. I suppose most of you might have gone through recorded sessions. More or less, this time, the same information what is there in recorded sessions are there, so you don't have to worry about sharing the PPT and all this time, because the same thing is already there on your portal. And if you read it again and again, if you watch them, it looks like more often it has been repeated to, but then it is quite convenient to go through it again and again, so that you will find similar type of questions in the examinations. So, any other thing which you would like to share, or your experiences, or which you want to add to make the sessions better, or any kind of expectations which you have in terms of you know knowing anything which we can take up in the next upcoming sessions? So, how many questions are there normally? Can anybody tell at the end of the particular course how many questions for the examinations are there? Because I'm not quite open to about what kind of examinations are held and assignments, marks a little bit on that. Can anybody share me? Is it 70 marks or 100 marks?
So previously it was 70 marks theory
Mm-hmm.
and 30 marks practical, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, from this year, we are not sure because we are the first batch.
Okay.
So if it is
So,
70 marks,
uh,
25 MCQs,
mm-hmm.
5 into 5, 5
Mm-hmm.
questions of 5 mark, and
Mm-hmm.
20 or 10 marks. If it is 10, and the last one is long answer, 10 marks. If it
Mm-hmm.
is 10 marks, 2 question, otherwise 1 question with 20 mark.
Mm-hmm. And you are writing with hand, or is it MCQ is like the descriptive answers are written with hand, or is it typed, or how the assignments are given?
Previously, both were there. Some 3 of the subjects were handwritten and 3 of them were typing. This
Mm-hmm.
year, as far as we know, it's all are handwritten.
I
Or
see.
MCQs, we are actually it is typing in computer. Other
Mm-hmm.
questions are handwritten and uploading.
Uh-huh. Nice to know. In all, you have six subjects, is it? Or do you have seven subjects?
Seven.
Excuse me, sir.
Total
Seven
number,
subjects.
seven subjects. Okay, fine. Um, so, is everybody happy with the speed with which I'm going, or do I need to slow down, or do you need have to quicken up a lot, or how do you find? Fine. Anyway, let's call it a day, and wish you all the best for all your assignments and MCQs and the tests as well, whenever it comes up. Thank you one and all for attending the sessions. Have a nice day.